Okay, today I come to you as a man who honestly should be eating a big old plate of, I don't know how you would make it, let's say crow pie. And the reason is, though the video is deleted, it did exist for a long time. I had said, in no uncertain terms, because I tend to speak in absolutes about my opinions, that the Dune role playing game absolutely was horrible. I made a whole video where I reviewed the game and I just tore it apart. I just tore it apart. I talked about how the skill system was too ambiguous and it was too hard to understand how to do certain things. And man, I just said so much stuff that, and I don't even hate to admit it. I am happy to admit I was completely wrong about. I was completely wrong about. It turns out after about the second or third reading and surprising my players with uh, blank Dune characters and telling them they had to make characters and going through the process and everything, because I just really wanted to play the game since I'd bought it on Kickstarter. And I thought, at least I can play it. And then if I don't like it, I'll throw it in a box and I'll sell it, because I've been selling tons of stuff lately. Like I'm right now in negotiations over an unopened, unused, still on the sprue box of Indomitus Space Marines. Like the whole box, it's got the Necrons in it too, right? But we have been having so much fun playing Dune that I really felt like I basically had to make an apology. So to Morpheus and all the creators of Dune, who probably have no idea who I am, which is good, I'm glad, I was wrong. That's what I can say. I didn't originally like Dune because I didn't see it for what it was. But once you actually sit down and get into character generation and different systems for doing tasks and things like that, um, you realize that Dune is actually a really good system, right up there with Conan, right up there with any system like that. I mean, I've had a player at my table already tell me they would rather play Dune any day of the week than Vampire, which surprised me quite a bit because, I mean, the Vampire game, people were loving it. But, I've got a player saying, yeah, I don't really want to play Vampire. I'd rather play Dune. I've got another player who's like, screw the OSE game. Let's play Dune. So that's what we did yesterday. Instead of picking up the OSE game, we picked up the Dune game. And boy, oh boy, the thing with the Dune game is time is a weird aspect of the game. And by weird, I mean players do actions, and some actions might take a second, and some actions might take a week. So the DM and the players all have to understand this, uh, that this is just part of the system. It's like if your Twisted Mentat decides they want to assassinate somebody, that can take a while, depending on how they want to do it. I mean, if they think they're going to John Wick it and just run into the enemy residence with a snub pistol and start killing people, the chances are they're just going to die. And then the smuggler who's hiding out on the desert shelf, just waiting for spice blooms so that they can run out with their little carry-on, grab as much as they can before someone else shows up to get them, or Shai Halud shows up to get them. And we have just had a blast with this. You just gotta, yeah. Upon reading the game another time and running the game, I can say definitively that Dune is actually a good game. Is it going to be your sci-fi game of choice? It may not be. And the reason is maybe you want a more generic kind of sci-fi game. Maybe you want to play something set in, like 25 or something. And, Dune's not going to be that because it's Dune. It's with the setting. And of course, I ignore the setting and I use the Dune Awakened setting. But that still doesn't change that you're dealing with a pre-written setting, right? At least to a point. However, the setting is amazing if you know Dune. And there's a little mini adventure that comes with it that, from what I read, talks about, the players actually going to Catane, or Carino or wherever, and getting involved in the imperial court and stuff like that. Not something that's likely to happen in my game, since the players in my game are the direct bondsmen of House Ordos. And those of you who know old school Dune stuff, you know that House Ordos, whose symbol is a serpent, they're all about sneaking around and doing all the sneaky subterfuge stuff. So House Becca, which is a House Minoris of House Ordos, they're kind of on that same train. And right now, since House Arrakis and House Harkonnen both are, pushing their claim to the suzerainty of Arrakis, and the Emperor is kicking back with his massive army in orbit, and he's just saying, "No, we're going to do an assassin's war, and it'll end when it ends," right? So what this has done is it's turned Dune into a boomtown. There are like scavengers, smugglers, communists, like literally straight up Marxists. Lots of different minor and major houses showing up, all to get involved in this whole situation, because the right moves, if a house makes the right move during this very contentious time, that could take a minor house and make it a major house. It could make it could take a minor house and they could stay a minor house, except they could just be rich as hell. Of course, on the downside, it could take a house, minor or major, and make them all dead. Right? That's just the way Canley works. So currently, at my last count, there's 4 major houses involved on Arrakis, but only 2 of them are fighting for control. The other 2 are there to make sure forms of Canley are abided by. So they're part of the Landsraad. And on top of that, the Emperor has 5 Legion of Sardaukar in orbit that are constantly patrolling the Shield Wall region, the Haga Basin, and even on occasion the Deep Desert. Then, as far as anybody knows, there's not a single surviving Fremen anywhere. But there are rumors amongst some planetologists and stuff that in the deepest deserts, hidden away in the deepest Sietches, Some of the Fremen may have survived. So who knows? Maybe some of the houses are trying to track the Fremen down. Additionally, the daughter of Leto and Jessica, Aristy, has about reached adulthood and is betrothed to Feyd-Rautha, who is not above singling out a noblewoman from a minor house and trying to get her into his Harkonnen sheets. You know what I'm saying? That happened in the game, and I think my wife's character was seriously considering betting him. And of course, this happened during a feast in Harco Village after they had all sat and watched Feyd pretty much dismember 3 slaves in the arena. So she decided not to. And we already know that between this week and next week, her character is spending all of her time doing paperwork, sending it back to the home world, and just letting them know what's going on, where they're going, etc. The Mentat is spending his off time hunting for ingredients for various poisons, since he has the talent poison. And the other Mentat is just cooking up deals that have nothing to do with the nobles that he's currently in service to, but were given to him directly by the leader of the house. So, which has caused a little consternation amongst some people, because they're like, why is this Mentat doing things that, you know, the nobles on the planet were not told about? So we'll see if the trust holds, or if they think Nemo, who is the major domo, is a threat to their power. But I get off topic, right? Because I'm telling, you know, like what all happened, right? What I should just be saying is I'm glad that video is gone where I trashed Dune and said that it was too whatever, because by the time you pick all of your statements and your skills and then your focuses and talents, etc., the Dune system in its own way will allow you to make as complex and interesting of a character as any system I've ever seen. So all of the complaints I had about it, wash them away. Even the war gamer in me likes the Dune system, since if I wanted to play a game between, you know, a number of Sardaukars raiding a bandit camp, say my friend was playing the Sardaukars and I was playing the bandits, we could just use the stats in the book. And since we would be saying that, you know, everyone involved is a tier 1 NPC, that just means if they get hit, they die. You know, if a hit lands and, you know, goes through the shield, etc. So you could even use a system for mass combats, and that may happen. Now, the other thing is, this didn't exist back when I got the Kickstarter, but I decided to get it for a number of reasons. And one, I mean, it adds standees, but I don't care. I have tons of miniatures for Dune. But it also adds like cards, encounters, negotiation zones, things like that. So when you're also, it adds the house Nagara, which was supposed to be for the players, but in my game will be NPCs. 50 card decks detailing NPCs' assets and traits. That I like that. They did that for or Free League did that for Twilight 2000 with all the weapons and stuff, and I put them in sleeves and they're awesome. Handouts and zone maps, so that if you're going to be fighting like battles and stuff, you know, 54 tokens and 2 trackers for momentum, threat, and determination. Interesting. Like how I've been doing threat and determination is I have the blue and red crystals from the Conan board game, and I just been using those. A complete spice harvesting system to keep track of your success or failures. That is really good. 5 custom D20s. Well, I've already got so many from buying up all the Conan and all the John Carter of Mars that, a free digital copy of the Dune Adventures in the Imperium Core Rulebook to expand your campaign even further. So I believe I might already have that. But if I don't, well, I got it. So let's open this up real quick. I mean, still got a little bit on the video. I don't want it to be too short. So we'll pop it open. And my first thought is, first off, this House Nagara, I like the way they dress. They look cool. Like you got your protector, swordmaster back here in his heavy armor, a Mentat. You can tell because he's got the tattoo. You got your noble. You've got a Bene Gesserit sister and possibly another noble or maybe an assassin. Hard to tell, right? But again, it's another minor house on Dune doing stuff. So it's got to read this first, which is apparently from the father of the children in this house that is letting them know what they got to do. Then we've got the adventure book, which is actually pretty thick, and it's got a bunch of it's an adventure book. There's an adventure. It looks, just flipping through it, I mean, it looks well done. And a map of Arrakeen, which is really cool. Also, to claim the PDF Dune rulebook, simply select the Dune Adventure in the Imperium Core book in PDF and enter this promo code. All right, so cool. Then we've got, I like when they add these because even though the players won't use these, if I introduce these guys as NPCs, it's cool to have. I'll tell you what, this box was slap full. I mean, you see how thick the box is? Slap full of stuff. So what do we got here? We've got the momentum and threat chart, and it also shows exactly what you can use both for. And here we've got spice harvesting chart. And it tells you, all right, so the GM determines if there's a spice flow. You get to accept or reject a Harkonnen assistance because they're always out there, yeah. And then you do a spice analysis test to determine whether, how much spice there is. And then you do spice operations. And then you roll for a worm attack because always. And then, you roll for, it says Fremen attack, but in the universe we're playing in, it would be sandflies or other smugglers, bandits, scavengers, whatever. And then we roll for spice production and the investment gained. Really cool, actually. So let's put that there. And then we've got this Arrakis. And it's got, this is kind of cool. It's just got basic information about Arrakis. It talks about the people who are mostly Egyptian descent, plus, latecomers. It talks about the major cities. Carthage is not a major city in my setting because in my setting, Carthage got blown up by a laser rifle on shield incident. There is a new Carthag, but currently it is way behind schedule and way over budget. So we got some Mentat stuff. A note from someone named Cameroon. Okay, a bunch of tokens. I like tokens. You know, there's like a Spice Blow token, there's a Worm token, there's a Carry-All token, there's house tokens. That is really cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. Then what else do we got? Well, it looks like, okay, put this down. It looks like on this side, we have a map of the shield wall. And I'm going to assume these are zones that people can be in doing whatever, right? And then on this side, it's some building, right? And it's got like, here's the walls and everything, the administration office, furnaces, etc. So maybe somebody needs something blown up. This might seem a little bit like if you want grid squares for everything, but believe me, having ran Conan, the area zone system works just fine. And when you're dealing with important stuff like a noble sending their champion and 100 troops to a particular area, it would be a lot easier just put a couple figures representing that on one of these circles with maybe enemies there so that you would know where, you know, because again, with the game Dune, it's not playing like D&D where you got to worry about every 6 seconds and you got to worry about every, 10 minutes, light a new torch and shit like that. Things are happening at all different times of time scales. Like the smuggler in my game, she harvests spice. She owns her own carry-all. She's got her own harvester. So during the course of a normal week, the other players in the game may never see her because she's hiding out in a smuggler village and getting whatever spice she can when she can, and then selling it at a good rate to House Becca in exchange for Solarian water. So that's how the dueling map. This actually is kind of cool because it shows your shield, and you, and the objective is to get past these guards and hit that target. That is the objective. Now, it might look a little bit more complicated, but it's not. And then on the back, we've got the negotiation map, which is really cool. It's got NPCs and who they're negotiating with. You got Alice Dominica, Sabri Zavar. They're all negotiating in some way with Chom, which, let's be honest, if you can get in good with Chom, you want to, because that's pure money right there. And then we've got our standees, whatever. Then we've got 5 dice. And let's see, how do you know that these are Dune dice? Is you find the one. Yep, there it is. These dice have Shai-Hulud on the one face. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a curled worm. So these are just generic Dune dice. I do have Arrakis dice and Harkonnen dice. And on their one face, they have. All right, so interesting. Stack of cards full of weapons and various other assets that the players can get a hold of. Players can have multitude of assets, but generally 3 is the main thing. And then they can have temporary assets as well. Like almost all the characters in my campaign, one of their assets is a dagger of some sort, a Botkin, a tri-blade, whatever, because a lot of them are trained for battle and have special focuses in short blades, shield fighting, and so let's go through and see what we got. Okay, these are NPCs. Nice. Not just NPCs, but like general whatevers. Like one of the first things that it shows is Harkonnen soldier, and then when you turn it over, it's got the stats of them. So if they're doing a battle, this guy actually has a focus with rifles, and he's just a tier 1 guy. So if he takes 1 point of damage, he would be out. House Nagara soldiers, which are probably, oh yeah, they suck. House Harkonnen soldiers are way better. And then spice smugglers, who are good with short blades and smuggling. There's a lot of spice smugglers in here, so apparently that's something you can meet. And then Musa, who is supposed to be a Fremen Naib, but in my campaign he would be a Sandfly leader. Because, like I said, I followed the timeline where Paul Atreides was never born, and the Sardaukar completely exterminated, as far as everybody knows, the Fremen. Now I'll find my clear, because these are too cool to block. So I'll find some clear sleeves around here. I know I've got probably 1,000 of them, and I'll go ahead and deal with those. And then we've got another deck, which appears to be more assets. And this asset, actually, one of the Mentats should have, because he found it after an assassination attempt on the noble he serves. He found basically a box with a row of HKs. One of them was missing, and he took it. So here is a card that describes an HK unit, what it does, and what it looks like. A Kinjal, which everybody was surprised that this counts as a long blade. Oh, there's multitudes of Kinjals, electronics kits, las guns, steel suits. So this is just a whole deck full of equipment and different like missions and things. Like here, there's a card that says injured, and the complication is +1 difficulty to all physical actions. So, you can mark which characters are injured or not. And then this looks like monsters, basically. A worker gang. Harkonnen workers. The target number is 13, standard 2 die, 20 dice pool. The game master may increase with threat as usual. So in case the players get attacked by a Harkonnen worker gang. Oh man, decoy, your intelligence is wrong. There is no one here. And then it's got, a couple of different, failed negotiations, naive diplomats, badly trained, Mnemic Film 1, Mnemic Film 2, an astrolabe, and a moon necklace, which is a sugar wire filament inside reveals the following message. So that's part of the adventure. Yeah, I'll need to get those sleeved up ASAP, because, my rule about Cheetos fingers all over my stuff. I will say, though, this box, pretty packed. I mean, pretty good value, right, for this. And the fact that if you buy this box, you can download the one core book. That's pretty freaking good, right? Gotta like that. Plus, it's got just enough room, just about, to put your GM screen in. So that could be good, you know, especially for a person like me that usually has a laptop somewhere in my immediate vicinity. And so I look at the book on laptop because it's so much easier to quick search things. But let's so I showed off a thing. Let's end it with this. I'm glad my original review of Dune is gone. I'm glad I deleted it because Dune does not suck. It's actually one of the best role playing games I've ever ran. It's very easy to run, it's very easy to play, it's very easy to make the kind of character you want to make. As long as you understand that you are playing in the Dune universe, so certain things are just going to be the way they are. Um, you can make whatever you want. You can make a charming bard. You can make a vicious assassin. You can make a mentat that's obsessed with numbers. I mean, and it's so easy to do because of the talent, trait, and skill system. So I reverse my thumbs down and all of my negative talk and instead say thumbs up. It's a great game. If you like the Dune universe and you want a game that once you read it a couple times is really, really good, this is the game for you. I mean, if you want to play in the Dune universe, this is definitely the game for you. But if you have any other issues as far as sci-fi, this could still be the game for you. It's a good game. The system works really well. So yes, apologies for the former review where I said I hated it, and I never even took the rule book out of the shrink wrap. I just read the PDF. Having played it, yeah, it's a good game. Perhaps even better than 5e, Daggerheart, any of that. Dune has a lot more heart and soul. You know what I mean? And it forces the players. I want to end with this. Dune kind of forces the players to work together because it's literally the player character group versus the entire world and everything in it. So if you've got a noble and the noble's got a sword master and there's also a mentat and a souk doctor, etc. I mean, that's the foundation of your minor house. And you're on Arrakis to survive and thrive. So you guys better be helping each other out, or there will be no surviving and definitely no thriving. There'll just be bleached bones in the desert somewhere. So that alone is a bonus for Dune. I mean, right now it's like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. Anyway, catch you later. And I hope this review helps.